Did you know that the foods you eat actually send signals to your brain that impact your mood? Cece Cheney here, and today I'm sharing 3 foods that people with depression should eat every day according to science, right? This is not my personal opinion. But I was doing some reading this morning, right? Several interesting articles popped up. I actually have an app that shares that allows me to subscribe to different feeds, and I got several articles sort of around this topic of holistic approaches to mental health. So if you know me, I am a social worker. I am a licensed clinical social worker. So I have done therapy with clients. I also studied mind, body, spirit practice for my doctorate. So this is sort of just something that's really interesting for me, but I thought it would really benefit you as well, right? So if you're someone who struggles with depression or low mood or mood disorders in general, then you'll really want to stick around and hear more about what you should be eating to support your mental health, right? So again, this is really my thoughts. My approach in general is really around holistic approaches to health. So I'm not saying just eat these foods and do nothing else to take care of your mental health. But what I am saying is that when you're thinking about your health holistically, you're thinking about your mind, you're thinking about your body, you're thinking about your spirit. You might be using conventional approaches while you might also be using some alternative approaches. And all of these things together can combine to create a holistic approach. Okay, so that's my little spiel about that. So this morning I was reading an article that talked about how inflammatory foods send signals, and in this case, sort of like alarm bells to your limbic system. And your limbic system is it's basically your emotion center, right? So when we eat certain foods that are inflammatory to our body, our emotion center in our brain gets an alarm bell that says, hey, there's something wrong. And then this can lead to depressed moods. And there's tons of studies on this. I was actually sort of like way too involved in in reading this morning, right? So if you're someone who wants to take a more holistic approach to dealing with your mental health, you'll want to also include a nutritional approach, right? Because what we eat matters. It impacts how we feel. It impacts our body. So what should you be eating, right? And I'm going to go over 3 of the items on the list that I was reading today. There's 10 total. If you want the full list, shoot me a message. I'll get that over to you. But the 3 that I think are super powerful, we'll talk about today. And the very first of these is dark leafy greens. And I'm going to be honest with you. I know that people don't like to eat green veggies. I get it. I hear it all the time. I understand. However, when it comes to food, your most nutritionally dense foods are your dark leafy greens. So if you're not eating them, I highly recommend that you supplement, right? Supplement with a plant-based source of leafy greens, because there's no way getting around them, right? So according to a very interesting study, they showed a link between brain inflammation and severe depression. And so leafy greens actually help to fight against all kinds of inflammation, including inflammation in your brain. And they're especially important because they really provide the building blocks that your body requires, not just for your mental health, but for your overall health. So we're talking vitamins, phytochemicals, nutrients, all of these things that are so important. So again, if you're not getting in dark leafy greens every single day, you should start. If you don't like the taste of dark leafy greens and you want to supplement, shoot me a message. We can talk about it. I've definitely got something for you there. But I cannot say enough how important dark leafy greens are for you. Now, the second thing that you might want to add to your diet is actually walnuts, right? And so I'm going to throw in some seeds as well. They are also on the list, but walnuts also, you can also use chia seeds and flax seeds for the same purpose. So this article was really talking about how rich in omega-3 fatty acids walnuts are, right? And omega-3 fatty acids are actually shown to have mood boosting properties. So when it comes to plant-based sources of omega-3 fatty acids that are well balanced, you're not going to beat chia seeds and flax seeds and walnuts, right? And so there are numerous studies that have demonstrated how omega-3 fatty acids, they actually support brain function, right? And there are also studies that show that making sure that you're getting enough omega-3 fatty acids actually helps to reduce depression symptoms. So the reason I include the seeds is because I think they're very easy to hide in things. I throw my chia seeds in my morning smoothie every morning. That's also where I throw my greens in, and that's where I throw my greens powder in, right? So seeds are very easy to add in. You can also add them to dressings. You can throw them in soups and stews. Walnuts, if you're a nut lover, and walnuts are very easy. You can throw them into your salads. You can, add them in. You can eat a handful. But these are different ways that you can get your omega-3 fatty acids in, which have been scientifically proven in numerous studies to help with brain function and reduce depression symptoms. So if you're not getting in your omega-3s from plant-based sources, then I highly, highly recommend you either do the walnuts or you do the seeds. And third, which is always something that I love to talk about, and this is berries, right? And so I'm going to be honest with you. There was a time in my life when I was absolutely frightened of fruit. I had been following a low carbohydrate diet, and I heard all these things and read all of these things about, the dangers of fruit and sugar. And so there was this whole period of my life where I was afraid to touch the stuff. And I'm so glad that I've moved on beyond that, because the reality is that berries are incredibly powerful when it comes to antioxidants. So we're talking blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, blackberries, goji berries. There's so many berries that you can eat out there. And these are some of the highest antioxidant foods that are available to us. So you can do them in a number of ways. Then you can do smoothies, you can eat them raw, you can throw them in your salads, you can eat them as a snack. I mean, berries are sort of one of those yummy things that most people don't mind eating because they're actually really enjoyable, right? What I thought was really interesting about berries is I was reading over some studies, and there was one study that really stood out. They were talking about patients who were treated with 2 years of antioxidants versus placebos. And after 2 years, those who were treated with antioxidants had a significantly lower depression score, right? And so a natural way to get these antioxidants in is through berries, right? So I like the little analogy they had in the article. They said antioxidants are kind of like DNA repairmen. They kind of go around fixing your cells and preventing them from getting cancers and other illnesses. And so there's lots of research that talks about the power of antioxidants. You hear about it all the time. Like, it's very powerful, thing that people talk about in marketing, right? When they're talking to you about how to products that are good for you because they provide antioxidants. Well, you can get them just by going ahead and eating berries straight up. We'll do that for you, okay? So those are 3 foods that you should add to your diet daily to really help improve your mood. Just checking in here to see what Laura's saying. Mostly everything I don't want to eat outright, I throw in a smoothie. Okay, yeah, I totally relate to that. I am that way. Like, my morning smoothie is not like pretty when you look at it, which is why I don't post it on Instagram, because it starts to look all fugly. But like dark leafy greens, I throw in all my seeds, I throw in some fruit to make it taste kind of decent, right? But if you can throw anything that you want to add in there that you do not want to eat, right? Laura's right. Absolutely. You want to throw it in a smoothie and make your life easier, right? And she gets her kids to eat berries in their smoothies too. Exactly. Berries are kind of the fun part of the smoothie, right? It's the part that makes it taste really good, especially if you're packing in the greens, right? So they're very practical ways to get the foods in that you need to get to feel better, mind, body, and spirit, right? It's all connected. So again, leafy greens, walnuts, and seeds, I'm throwing that in, and berries are really, really powerful. Now, if you're serious about trying a more nutritional approach to support your mood, feel free to shoot me a message and I'll send you the remaining 7 foods on the list that you might want to go ahead and add so that you can get those good mood boosting qualities. So thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you, and I look forward to chatting with you tomorrow. Ciao.